Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ames in Progress, and this is Mama Bear. This is Annie, my mom, and I had a lot to say in this video, but I am not the most eloquent with my words. Thankfully, Mama Bear here, she's been a teacher for a long time, and instead of her just telling me what to say from the background, we're just gonna bring her on camera and make her feel real awkward. First off, I wanna say Happy New Year, and I was successful last year at setting some resolutions and then sticking to them all of 2022. So we are here to talk about how to make realistic resolutions that you can stick to for 2023. It's gonna be a conversation, so maybe grab some coffee and let's get into it. If you're like me and you're on Instagram and you have seen 1,000,001 people saying, new year, new me. And the first thing we want to say is that's ridiculous. You don't need a new you. You've worked many, many years to become who you are today. And throwing that all out the window to become a new version is ridiculous. You're awesome, you're amazing, you're beautiful just as you are. So let's not make a new you. Let's make a
improved you.
Improved.
Yes.
Yes. That's a good word.
Because life is about growth.
Yeah, if you're the same person today as you were a year ago, then you've done yourself a disservice. It is our job to grow as people with new things we read and learn and travels we take. We are taking in more information and becoming improved versions of ourselves, because you have this narrow of a mental state, and with all these new things you do, it gets a little bigger and a little bigger. Then we have to reevaluate what our priorities are based on the things we've learned and where we want to go.
So our buzzword is moderation.
That is the number one key to sticking to your goals, no matter what it is. If you want to read more, if you want to learn how to speak a different language, if you want health or weight loss, hopefully you want the health. Everything you want to do, you need to do it moderately. Little baby bites over time, chipping away like a little chisel. You don't sculpt something in an hour and have a sad blob. They take time. They take little parts here, little parts there, and months later, you have a beautiful statue of David that my grandma went to Italy and grabbed the butt of. True story.
True story.
I don't know how we got there. This is a way different video than I was filming 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to deliver her with a plant. This is a Christmas plant. And I gave this to her last year because I have some very naughty cats, and they were eating my Christmas plant. So I gave it to Amber knowing that she has a tendency to kill plants.
No, not a tendency. I am a serial killer. Everything dies, that's why everything's fake.
But look how beautiful this plant is. It is healthy, it is green, it is growing.
It's alive.
There's one problem. It didn't bloom this Christmas. And it normally blooms at Christmas time. So, just like this plant, you may be in this situation where all you need is the blooms. So what do you need to do to get the blooms that you want?
I'm gonna say some water and sunshine. And that isn't only true for plants. I too need water and sunshine. And a little less neglect.
If I'm going to make this plant bloom next year, what specifically do I need to do so it will bloom next Christmas? Well, a little bit more sun, a little bit more water, and probably some blooming fertilizer.
Maybe like a new host. That might help.
No. I believe in her. I believe next Christmas we're going to be showing a blooming Christmas plant.
It's not on my New Year's resolutions, I'm sorry. So this year, my goal, as it was last year, is to focus on my health, not my weight loss. And so instead of just saying I'm going to be a healthier version of myself next year, you need to break it up and then think about what the habits a person who is healthier has. So when I think about Amber, who is a healthier version than she is today, she's a person who likes to work out 3 days a week. She is a person who enjoys eating a variety of foods, not all fruits and vegetables, but also things that make her mentally happy. Because my mental health is just as important as my muscle health, all the other things. She's a person who gets her water in. She's a person who sleeps the proper amount of hours a night. She has a lot of things that go into making her that healthier version. So now I can take each one of those segments and make a baby goal. That's the key. We're not making, I'm gonna have a gallon of water a day when you drink 2 cups of water a day. It's unrealistic. You're not gonna stick to it. So if you are a person who drinks 2 to 3 cups a day, maybe your goal is I'm gonna drink 4 to 5 cups every day. You're gonna do it consistently over time. And the main thing here is that you then just prove to yourself that you can stick to your goals, that you can show up for yourself, that you can stay committed, and then you can commit to something else. Maybe now I can commit to 6 cups. Let's think about the reverse of that same situation. I'm a person who drinks 2 to 3 cups of water a day. Now I say, I want my goal to be 10 cups of water a day. I'm gonna get real waterlogged for about 2 weeks trying to just claw my way to that water goal. I'm gonna be peeing all the time, so at least you'll get your steps in. But what's gonna happen is it's gonna be overwhelming. It's gonna be you bit off too much that you can't chew. You're gonna give up, and then mentally you say, see, I knew I couldn't do it. I can't handle staying committed to something. I can't do anything right. Whatever lie you want to tell yourself, you just reaffirm that in your head. And the way you think about yourself should be your first goal this year, because we talk so much negative talk to ourselves, and then we constantly prove ourselves right by doing too much. And then our bodies can't handle anymore. It stops. It forces us to eat more than 1,200 calories, or it says, no, go to sleep, stop working out so much. And then we're like, see, I just can't stay committed. I just can't do it. Maybe if you just did a little less and were a little kinder, maybe you wouldn't be running a marathon, but maybe you'd be walking 3 miles.
So I've had back surgery. I have titanium held up my back. I've had a complete knee replacement. I jumped in too fast trying to exercise. I hurt myself again. And so my goal is steps. My goal is not 10,000 steps yet, because that will hurt. I won't get there. And then it'll be self-defeating. And so my goal is to do 5,000 steps consistently. Now there are days that I already get 5,000 steps. There's days I get 10,000 steps, but I don't do it consistently. So now I want to be consistent in the 5,000. And then in April, maybe I'm going to revisit it and go up to 7,000 steps. So it's a moderate thing. Where am I at now? Because life gives us unexpected things that we just don't plan on, we don't expect on. And now we're like, how do I deal with this? So don't overwhelm yourself. It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint to see who can get there the fastest, or it's about you being happy with you and living a good life.
Yeah.
And that's what we want you to have. We want you to have a good life. We want you to be happy. We want you to be healthy. We want you to have the energy to go do things that you want to do. We have a trip coming where we're going to Beaver Spin, where I'm getting my girls and all my grandkids together, and we're going to go have fun. But you know what? I'm going to be hiking in the mountains, because that brings me joy to be with my family out in nature. What is it that brings you joy? What is it that you need that extra little motivation for to help you accomplish your goals? So you think I'm going to be walking a little bit more between now and that cabin trip? Absolutely, because I want to keep up with my grandkids. What do you want to do?
I think that brings us to our next point, which unfortunately so many adults miss out on, and that's self-awareness. So who are you? What do you want? Like, if you can answer those 2 questions, you're already doing so much better than a lot of other people out there. So like she said, her goal is to take more steps She knows her own medical history and what she can handle. So taking those small bites of a little more steps to become that person who can walk more. Now, if she just was like, you know, people who run marathons, they just look so good and they have so much energy, and that's what I want to do. She would be a fool, because she doesn't find joy in running. She doesn't have hours a day to commit to running. Her body would fall apart other than the metal that's holding her together. And so she needs the self-awareness to know, hey, that's not a good goal for me. It doesn't matter if that's what buzzwords I've heard other people say. So maybe you're a person who loves carbs, but everyone you know is on the keto diet, and you're like, well, I should just do it because everyone else had success. I've done keto. Let me tell you, if you love carbs, you will not be successful doing keto. Know yourself, and know you just losing weight is not going to bring you joy. Me being a smaller version of myself, I have been smaller versions of myself. You've been smaller versions of yourself. If the only thing you think is going to make you happy is the weight loss, you're going to be so disappointed when you lose the weight, especially if you've given up your time and effort and mental health to get there, and then all you have is a smaller body. It's not enough. You have to build a lifestyle that brings you joy, that brings you peace, that brings you fulfillment, and get you to your goals. Yeah, sometimes you'll be a little uncomfortable because change is hard. But if we make it so uncomfortable and we just turn that dial all the way up, no one's going to be successful like that. And do you want to? Do you want to spend your whole year miserable just to have a smaller clothes size? I don't, but I would like to be stronger. So my goal is to go to the gym 3 days a week. That is something that it's a small habit I can commit to, be consistent at, that helps me get to that health goal. Big goal, broken down into what habits do I need, broken down into bite-sized pieces. That's your formula for figuring out what you want to do this year. If you want to be a person who reads more, don't just say, I'm going to read more this year. Give yourself a plan and a realistic plan. If you work 12-hour days, it's not realistic to say, I'm going to read for an hour a day. I don't have time for that, and I stay at home.
Right.
So maybe it's, I'm going to read 5 minutes before bed, 5 days a week. Or maybe it's, I'm going to read one book a month and break it up on whatever days you have time. But whatever it is, make it realistic and consistent. Having consistency over the whole year is how you're going to get to your goals. You're only going to stay consistent if you make it realistic.
And also, you need to vocalize it. So let us know what your goals are, because that would help us and help you for the rest of the year.
Speaking of books, read this book this year. If you read one book, make it this book, Atomic Habits. It says something in this book about building habits. And it does say, not only do you say, okay, I'm gonna read 5 minutes a day, but then you also need to say out loud where you're gonna read it. I'm gonna read 5 minutes a day in bed. Then you also need to say what time. I'm gonna read 5 minutes a day in bed after I brush my teeth before I go to bed. Say it out loud. You'll be way more likely to do it because now you just set yourself a plan. Where it gets tricky is if you just say, I'm gonna lose weight. How? When? Where? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna learn Spanish, but then you don't ever actually okay, well, I need 5 minutes a day to get on Duolingo after work or while I'm picking up my kids in car line. Set intentions, set times, set places. Give yourself the best chance for success.
And have a great New Year's.
Yeah. I'm gonna be in bed. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be the best New Year's because I'm not staying up. Because, I already told you, I gotta get more sleep this year. So I'm just sticking to my goals. All right, guys, we hope you'll have an amazing New Year. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let us know in the comments what your goals are, specific goals. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.
Happy New Year!